Why is America
Not the greatest country in the world, Professor. That's my answer.
Awesome that we're the only ones in the world who have freedom.
Canada has freedom. Japan has freedom. The UK, France, Italy, Germany, Spain.
Australia, Belgium has freedom. So 207 sovereign states in the world, like 180 of them have freedom.
All right.
And yeah, you, sorority girl,
Just in case you accidentally wander into a voting booth one day,
there's some things you should know. And one of them is, there is absolutely no evidence to support the statement that we're the greatest country in the world. We're 7th in literacy, 27th in math, 22nd in science, 49th in life expectancy, 178th in infant mortality, 3rd in median household income, number 4 in labor force, and number 4 in exports. We lead the world in only 3 categories: number of incarcerated citizens per capita, number of adults who believe angels are real, and defense spending, where we spend more than the next 26 countries combined, 25 of whom are allies. Now, none of this is the fault of a 20-year-old college student. What makes us the greatest country in the world? I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Yosemite?
Hey YouTube, it's me again, Vaedynn, and I'm going to continue where I left off from the last video, where I actually get into why we left America and moved to Barcelona. I never thought I would ever speak Spanish or any other foreign language other than English, because America's the greatest country in the world. Why would you ever want to learn another language? I'm never gonna live anywhere else but America, and everybody speaks English. Unfortunately, that was the view that I had, and I didn't really take Spanish language too seriously. It wasn't until I started traveling that I realized that America may not be the best country in the world. Now, don't get me wrong, America has got a lot of amazing things. In this video, what I'm talking about is 10 things on why we left America. Also, before we get into this, I want to predicate all of this on we are very lucky. We have some very special circumstances that even allow us. One, my wife is from the EU. Me being able to come to the European Union, whether it's Spain or any other country here, it's a lot easier than it would be for other people. So that gets taken out of the equation whenever we're talking about moving and traveling, because I have a special circumstances. Also, my wife speaks Spanish already, so she's able to be very, 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 very helpful. Nina, you're amazing. This whole process in getting me and the family set up into the entire system here. Also, just in general, I'm an adventurous person. I have been living in Los Angeles for 22 years. I moved to Los Angeles when I was 18 years old with my Toyota pickup truck and $1,000, and I got a job and figured it out. I made it happen. After 22 years of living there, I was just ready for something really new, and just nowhere else in America really excited me, and I really wanted to try something new. We've been to Barcelona several times. It's an amazing city. Spain's got amazing things that we'll eventually talk about on this channel as well. Just wanted to throw that out there before I get into this top 10 list, all right? One of the reasons why we left America is that we want more languages for our kids and for ourselves. My kids already, before leaving the United States, were already bilingual. They speak English and Bulgarian. And now my son, who's 5, he speaks English, Bulgarian, and Catalan and Spanish. All within 8 months, he was able to get along pretty well with learning a new language. And by the way, Catalan is what is in what they teach in the schools. He's learning Spanish just by playing with the other local kids. The classes aren't even in Spanish. So it's just incredible what's happening when you take your family and you move them into another culture, and how easy the kids are able to develop these language skills. And we'll talk about my efforts in learning Spanish and, you know, what I'm doing, but I'm definitely not learning it nearly as fast as my kids. This is why we're heading here. This is why we're doing get totally immersed in a new culture and just have an adventure. I mean, that's a big reason. Number 9, culture. I just was tired of the culture in America. I feel that they don't value family life as much as some of these cultures near the Mediterranean, South Europe. My wife is Bulgarian, and some of those Baltic ways, if you've ever seen My Big Fat Greek Wedding, there's so many similarities of the way her family grew up and the characters in that movie. Knowing the way that I grew up and a lot of the way other Americans grew up, I just felt like that's something that I wanted for my family as well, to have closeness and a bond with the family that, you know, just is missing from most American families. Reason number 8, the wealth divide in America. I see that you've got homelessness everywhere next to these apartments that just are costing $5,000-$10,000 a month, and nothing's being done. It's just, I don't understand where all these tax dollars were going, and there's just these huge problems and safety issues that America's got. Los Angeles didn't feel safe to have a family. Number 7, college tuition and quality of education. It's no joke that American public education is just not very. You can get a better education, but that does cost a lot of money. You have to make a lot of money to be able to afford an education for 2 children. So it just became about how do we provide the best life for our family and our kids and be able to still make it work and be able to live and provide. It seems significantly harder to be able to do that in America. Another reason, number 6, work-life balance. I felt like my whole life was just driving and doing work, being on the phone. There's no real clear-cut division of when work ends and work stops. So everybody just ends up working all the time, and I was just missing my kid's life. I've missed the first couple years of my child's life. Mind you, I did have a sales job and I was traveling a lot. I just felt like there's just so many moments where I was just on my phone, addicted to the emails and messages and talking to people, and I'm not present with the relationship with my child. And I wanted something more. I wanted something that I just wasn't getting from the way that my jobs were expecting me to work. And I just felt everywhere I went, that's what the expectation was. Going back to those family values and what I've said in other points, it's just when a culture doesn't value the family, it makes it significantly harder to try to bring up kids with a positive influence and a positive education and give them opportunities that you want them to be able to have in life. It just is significantly harder when the culture isn't really supporting you in that venture. Reason number 5, healthcare. Obviously, healthcare is not free in America. We all know this. It's big world news, and that's a big problem, but I don't even want to just harp on that. That's only a small part of the American healthcare system that's just very bothersome. The whole system is a for-profit system, and when you go to the doctor, they seem to always want to prescribe you something, give you some sort of pill, get you on some sort of program, get you on these things that you may or may not need to take for the rest of your life. They're over-prescribing everybody. I just didn't feel like I was getting quality healthcare. I just felt like another number going into a system where they're just trying to figure out what drugs they can give you, so just see dollar signs as you're walking in the door. It just doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel like you're getting really good care. Not to mention that you're paying exorbitant prices for healthcare. Reason number 4, politics. This whole system, this 2-party system that just doesn't make sense. The rest of the world, it works on multiple parties. And for example, there's this clip. I'll put the clip right here.
I don't understand why people support the politician. You should be supporting your policies. You should say, this is what I need done in this country. This is what I want to see happen with education. This is what I want to see happen with low-income communities.
Not a particular political party, but
you shouldn't care.
That you
shouldn't care if the politician gets taken down, because that's what happens is people get obsessed with the politician, and so it becomes a cult of personality. And now people don't know how to separate the person from the policies. And so if your politician gets taken down, you're like, no, they couldn't have done that. No, I don't accept it. Why? Because you're afraid that means now your policies have been undermined. Whereas if you have always said, I support these policies and I don't support... In fact, in America, I feel like people should swap the way they treat sports with the way they treat politics. I feel like people treat sports in a really healthy manner. In sports, they go, this is my team. This is what we're about. If there's players who are doing some crazy shit that they don't agree with, they're not playing well, they're not, not passing the ball, not scoring, what do they say?
Fuck him.
Kick him out of the team.
That's right.
We need to kick that coach out, kick that player out. That's not what this team is about.
Yes.
But then with politics, people are like, no, we're just going to keep him. We're just, you know what I mean?
But that's the problem with America now, right? Because whether you're a Republican or a Democrat, you should care about the country. You should care about democracy, the Constitution. So that guy's not good for none of it.
Right. But the problem is you only have 2 parties in America.
Yeah.
Right. Imagine if you only had 2 sports teams. People would kill each other.
Guns. It doesn't make any sense. I don't understand it. Why are Americans letting children die? Just because you want the right to shoot a gun? Do you really think that you can fight the American government? They're the most powerful military in the world. They've got weapons with lasers that can hear what you're saying from space. Here they don't even have guns. The police don't have guns. There's no guns. People aren't dying from that. I feel safe in the streets. I don't have to worry about my kids getting shot up at school. I don't have to worry about going to a concert and some guy going on a rampage. I don't understand how Americans just don't see this as a big problem. 2, cars. We wanted a city that was just more walkable. I believe that there's a lot more fun to be had, and it's a lot more enjoyable when you're able to walk everywhere. I was tired of looking at my children through this rear view mirror, taking them everywhere, and that's my main experience of my children's lives. Them in the back seat, me driving. Now I get to walk my kids pretty much everywhere, and if I'm not walking them, we get on a bus or we're on a train, which is a great experience. I'm there, I'm present with them, we get to talk and play and laugh. It's awesome. I love it. I do not want to go back to car culture ever. Now, mind you, I'm from Los Angeles. We haven't lived in the East Coast where there's New York or Boston, but those don't necessarily interest me either. The system in Barcelona is incredible. The trains, they go till pretty late and start pretty early, and I believe the buses are going 24 hours a day, so you're never stuck. You can always get around and get by at all hours, all times of the day and night. It's incredible. And for the number one reason why we left America, it just comes down to financial reasons. America is just too expensive. You're being overtaxed on everything. It's not just federal and state taxes. You're getting retail tax. You're getting taxed because you go out with your car, so then you've got to pay for parking, you've got to pay for your gas, you've got to pay for the car insurance. All of it is way more than everywhere else in the world. Then on top of that, you got to pay for rent, which is extremely expensive in LA. We're paying about $4,000 and $5,000 for school, car payments $500, and then insurance and then gas. Already you're talking about $12,000 to $15,000 a month, and you haven't even talked about food. We haven't talked about going on a vacation. We haven't even brought up just getting an iPhone or having a computer or buying a camera or audio gear. It's so expensive. It's so expensive to live in America. What are you getting? You go out for dinner and it's $200 plus a tip, and it's not even good. Everywhere you go, the price of a ticket because the signs aren't clear. The price of airplane to fly in a plane, it's the same distance, but in America, prices are more expensive. And then everything's so far apart, it just begins where you're priced out, can live so much better in so many other countries and have more freedom. So just ultimately, it makes more sense for us at this point in our lives to live in another country. Now, after being here for 8 months, I wouldn't say necessarily that I would never go back to America, but for right now, we're loving it here, and I highly recommend checking out other countries, visiting more countries, traveling more, because you might find you can go to another spot, thrive much more than necessarily where you're at right now. So try it. What do you have to lose? Check you up on the next update. See you later, guys.